Welcome all to LawSikho's thorough newspaper analysis for 10th and 12th of February 2024. Now, let us start with the today's agenda of the day, where we'll be discussing about the editorial section relating to Supreme Court says jail, not bail, is the rule under UAPA. How courts have been granting bail under UAPA cases, which we have taken from the Indian Express. Then we'll be discussing about some interesting news update, and lastly, the legal news update of the day. Now, starting the editorial section of today's session. The context behind this particular editorial that we're talking about is underlining that the often quote phrase, bail is a rule, jail is the exception. So I absolutely, I'm sure that people listening to this video have listened about this particular phrase all the time, stated by the courts in India, that bail should always be the rule and jail should be an exception. Does not find any place in the stringent Anti-Terror Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. The Supreme Court on February 7 denied bail to Gurvinder Singh, an accused in an alleged Khalistan module. Now, Singh was arrested when he was found hanging cloth banners on which Khalistan Zindabad and Khalistan Referendum 2020 was written. He is now accused of being part of a larger conspiracy with Sikhs for justice, a pro-Khalistan group banned by the Indian government. While the higher bar for granting bail under UAPA is indeed anti-ethical to ordinary criminal law, there are some cases in which courts have granted bail. Now, how have courts interpreted Section 43D, subclause 5 of UAPA? This is a matter of question here. Why do courts deny bail in most cases, despite some rulings that have raised the bar for the state to argue against bail? So we'll discuss about the law first. So Section 43D, subclause 5 reads, I will read it for you. Be very, attentive with this particular line. Notwithstanding anything contained in the code, no person accused of an offence punishable in Chapter 4 and 6 of the Act shall, if in custody, be released on bail or on his own bond, unless, so it's a proviso to the fact, जब तक ये condition पूरी नहीं होती, the public prosecutor has been given an opportunity of being heard on the application of such release. So, the accused must show to the court that it is unreasonable to believe the accusations are prima facie true. In shifting the onus on the accused, the cardinal principle of criminal law that a person is innocent until proven guilty is unpended in an alternative frame of UAPA. Now, narrowing the room for the bail, why it has happened. So in 2019, Supreme Court on a two-judge bench headed by Justice A.M. Khanvilkar ruled in Zahur Ahmad Shah Vatali versus NIA that for granting bail under UAPA, court must not examine the evidence but only accept it as a face value. The Supreme Court in this case was hearing an appeal against the Delhi High Court ruling by a bench headed by Justice S. Muralidhar granting bail to a Kashmiri businessman. The court is merely expected to record a finding on the basis of a broad probability regarding the involvement of the accused in the commission of the stated offence or otherwise. Now, in 2019, the Supreme Court and two judges bench headed by Justice A.M. Khanvilkar held that for granting bail under UAPA, court must not examine the evidence, but only accept it at a face value. This is a very broad term and broad line that has been given by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court in this case was hearing an appeal against the Delhi High Court ruling by a bench headed by Justice S. Muralidhar granting bail to a Kashmiri businessman. Now, once charges are placed in the case, the court in Vatali said an accused may have to undertake an odious task to satisfy the court that despite the framing of charge, the material presented along with the charge sheet do not make out reasonable ground for believing that the accusation against him is a prima facie true. Legal scholar Gautam Bhatt illustratively wrote in his blog Indian Constitutional Law and Philosophy that for lawyer of an accused in UAP case, arguing for bail would be participating in swimming competition with both arms tied behind their backs. They cannot deploy any part of the arsenal open to the defense team in a regular criminal trial. They are not only permitted to try and point out the internal contradiction with the prosecution case or show how, even when you assume the prosecution case to be true, it does not mean the UAPA threshold. The Vatali judgment effectively tied a dumbbell to the defense legs in addition to its arm being tied behind its back, when it further restricted what material the court would consider in UAPA bail. The Vatali judgment effectively closed the window, especially for trial courts, to look at the prosecution case critically while granting bail. If prosecution case is flimsy, court cannot question it, raising concerns about the liberty of the individual. Court have, however, granted bail in several cases. The Delhi High Court in 2021 granted bail to three students activists Asif Iqbal Tanha, Devangana Kalita, and Natasha Narwal in the anti-CAA protest in Northeast Delhi. The HC applied the Vatali precedent but placed the burden of making out prima facie case on the police instead of court itself having to make out a case. The court said it did not locate a specific factual allegation and said it was of the view that mere use of alarming and hyperbolic verbiage in the subject charge sheet will not convince the court otherwise. Supreme Court stayed this ruling though. Now, even the Bombay High Court is granting bail to Dalit activist Anand Teltumbue. The Bombay High Court simply referred to a material before the court and found no specific link to an overt act by Teltumbue. Now, again, a very important case. In February 21, Union of India versus K.S. Najib, which the three-judge bench by the Honorable Supreme Court, headed by then CJI N.V. Ramana, allowed bail under UAPA when the accused had undergone incarceration for a significant period. This, however, was carved out while acknowledging that bail under UAPA is an exception but needs to be balanced with the right to a speedy trial. Now, it's a very recent judgment coming in 2023, Vernon Gonsalves versus State of Maharashtra, where the Supreme Court differed with the Vatali ruling on how the prima facie true test would apply. In our opinion, however, it would not satisfy the prima facie test unless there is at least surface analysis of probative value of the evidence at the stage of examining the question of granting bail, and the quality of probative value satisfy the court to its worth. However, since both the Vatali and the Gonsalves ruling are by benches of the same strength, it will have to see how future benches apply the test. If there is substantial disagreement between different two judges' bench, then a larger bench will have to settle the law. In Gurvinder Singh case, the two judges' bench headed by Justice M.M. Sundaresh relied on Vatali ruling entirely without considering the Gonsalves ruling. So it's a two judges bench. So now let us see how the higher judges bench, because both the judgments were from a division bench. So how a higher judges bench will deal with the situation. And that's all on UAPA when it comes to giving bail to the accused. Now, let us start with the national news of the day. RBI keeps repo rate unchanged at 6.5%. So Reserve Bank of India kept the key repo rate unchanged at 6.5%, defying market expectations of a potential cut amidst the looming national elections. RBI will continue to focus on aligning inflation towards target of 4%. Now, existing borrowers may be paying a higher than market spread, well over 2 over the repo rate. Now, Kota teenager builds AI robot to help farmers assess soil health, water, crop. A teenager in Rajasthan, Kota, has built an all-purpose robot to help farmers assess soil and crop health. Aryan Singh, 17, built the ag robot at his school Atal Tinkering Lab, a central government initiative to help school children hone their building skills. Now, the son of farmer, Aryan, spent 4 years building the robot which won him the Pradhan Mantri Rashtra Bal Puraskar under Science and Technology category. The 7th Indian Ocean Conference in Perth. The 7th Indian Ocean Conference in Perth leaders highlighted challenges to maritime traffic, noted peaceful record of Indian Ocean region, and urged each other to address concerns jointly. Now, the 7th edition of this took place on 9th and 10th February External Affairs Minister Shri S. J. Shankar too was also present. Now, the theme of this particular conference was towards a stable and sustainable Indian Ocean. I hope I'm giving sense to you by this news. So do tell me in the comment section any feedback you want to give on this particular video and the TNA that is coming on regular basis so that we can improve ourselves. Yes. Raksha Rajya Mantri Shri Ajay Bhatt visited Rajya for World Defence Show. So Raksha Rajya Mantri Shri Ajay Bhatt is on visit to Riyadh as the head of Indian delegation for the ongoing World Defence Show 2024. The 5-day show showcased the latest advancement in defense technology, serving as a vital platform for international collaboration among the participating companies. Now, the Raksha Rajya Mantri held a meeting with the Defense Minister of Saudi Arabia, Prince Khalid bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, on the sidelines of the show. India's Atmanirbhar Bharat and Saudi Arabia Vision 2030 are national programs that can be mutually beneficial to both the sides. PV Narasimha Rao, Chaudhary Charan Singh, MS Swaminathan to get Bharat Ratna. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced former Prime Minister PV Narasimha Rao and Chaudhary Charan Singh, as well as agricultural scientist MS Swaminathan, will be honored with the Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilian award. Now, the centre had earlier announced the Bharat Ratna for Bharatiya Janata Party veteran Lal Krishna Advani and former Bihar Chief Minister Karpuri Thakur. Now, let us understand some really good facts about the, civilian awards conferred in India. Bharat Ratna, it's the first degree of honor. Padma Bhushan is second. Then Padma Bhushan, third degree of honor. And Padma Shri, it's a fourth degree of honor. And the inception year of all the civilian awards was in 1954. Okay, guys? Agriculture Minister launches Sarathi portal for insurance product. So Agricultural Minister Arjun Munda has launched portal Sarathi that aims to provide a comprehensive suite of insurance products including BMFBI tailored explicitly for farmers and rural population of India. A learning material system about PMFBI modified interest subvention scheme and Kisan credit card was also launched for stakeholders implementing the scheme across the country. Rajkot Stadium to be named after Niranjan Shah. The Saurashtra Cricket Association announced that it would rename its home venue in Khanderi, Rajkot as Niranjan Shah Stadium on February 14, a day before India and England take the field there for the third test of the ongoing 5-match series. Now, the first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, has 9 stadiums named after him across the country, and 8 of which have hosted domestic and international cricket fixtures. PM Modi-led panel clears name for Lokpal Chief Vigilance Commissioner. So Supreme Court Judge Ajay Manikrao Khanvilkar was elected as the new chairperson of Lokpal, and Aratu S. Rajiv, Managing Director of Bank of Maharashtra, was picked up for the post of Vigilance Commissioner by a committee led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, Khanvilkar was confirmed as a permanent judge in the Bombay High Court in April 2002. He served briefly as a Chief Justice of Himachal Pradesh High Court and was then appointed the Chief Justice of Madhya Pradesh High Court in November 2013. He was elevated to Supreme Court in May 2016 and served a 6-year term until his retirement in July 2022. And the appointment is very, very important for your judicial services examination. So do note this so that you can, remember it well. India to host 9-day Milan naval exercise from February 19. India will host a 9-day mega naval exercise in Visakhapatnam beginning February 19. Navies from US, Japan, Australia, France, Bangladesh, South Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia are said to be among the participating nations in the Milan exercise to be conducted off Visakhapatnam from February 19 to 27. Milan is a biennial and multinational naval exercise which started in 1995. The exercise flourished under the aegis of Andaman and Nicobar Command till its 10th edition. Miss World pageant to take place in India from 18th February to March 9. So the much anticipated 71st edition of Miss World will be held in India from February 18 to March 9. With this later edition, the coveted international beauty pageant is making a return to the country after nearly 3 decades. The pageant will commence with the opening ceremony and India welcomes to the World Gala by the Indian Tourism Development Corporation in New Delhi. The pageant will unfold across various venues, including Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi, and will see 120 contestants from countries across the globe participate in various competitors and charitable initiatives. India has hosted the international pageant in 1996. China opens fifth Antarctic research station to provide platform for scientific cooperation. So China Onkling Station in Antarctica, the country's fifth research station on the continent, started operation on Wednesday. The research facility is expected to help enhance mankind's scientific understanding of Antarctica, provide a platform for China to cooperate with other countries. Blue card set to be introduced in football for sin bans. So the International Football Association Board, the body that governs the law of the sport, are considering trailing blue cards to temporarily suspend players for a few minutes in the middle of game for committing cynical fouls. If implemented, the blue card would feature alongside yellow and red card. Resembling the yellow card rule, if a player receives a second blue card, then a red card will be shown to them, implying that a player would be dismissed from the match. So blue card is set to be introduced in the football matches. Now, let us come to the legal update of the day, where the court has talked about that bail is the exception, jail the rule under UAPA Act. This particular editorial also we have discussed today, where while denying a bail to a man charged under Unlawful Activities Prevention Act for allegedly promoting Khalistani terror movement, the Supreme Court has held that mere delay in trial is no ground to bail in grave offences. Now, the court has said that bail is a rule, jail is an exception, unless circumstances justify otherwise. Does not find any place while dealing with the bail application under UAPA Act. Now, the case name is Gurvinder Singh versus State of Punjab and another. Now, police officer expecting an accused to prove his innocence. Now, the Supreme Court criticized Bihar police for expecting an accused to prove his innocence during the investigation. The court terms such approach as shocking. The police officer seems to be under an impression that the accused has to appear before him and prove his innocence. Such approach cannot be contested. The division bench of Justice Abhay S. Oka and Ujjal Bhuvan were hearing a criminal appeal against the Patna High Court order which declined anticipatory bail to the present accused, and the case name is Mohammad Tawheed versus State of Bihar. Now, again, a legal update, mere delay in complying court order does not amount to contempt of court, being very deliberate and willful. So the court is coming up saying that a mere delay in complying with the order of the court would not amount to committing contempt of court. We are of view that mere delay in complying with the order, unless there is a deliberate or willful act on the part of alleged contemners, would not attract the provisions of contempt of court. And the case name is Shri L.V. Subramaniam, IAS versus Registrar General, High Court of Judicature at Hyderabad. Now, guys, if you want to revise your previous Q&A, do attempt the daily quiz link that is mentioned in the description of this particular video. If you like this video, do share with your friends and family members. Please इस channel को subscribe करिएगा. It will help us in improving and growing all together. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care.